Hey Harmonizers, this is Bunny. You probably haven't seen her for a little while, and in this video I'm going to show you guys some pretty exciting stuff because we have something really new planned that's going to be happening for next year with Bunny. You're probably going to be a little bit surprised. So Bunny, for those of you guys that don't know, she came to me when she was a weanling. She was actually a Facebook purchase because I was up scrolling one night and I saw an adorable little Palomino filly that had really nice bloodlines for doing more of ranch work, versatility work, cow work, and I thought she'd be a great option for doing obstacles with me in the future. And so now she is a 3-year-old and she'll be turning 4 this year in 2024. And so this video footage is actually from the summer of 2023. And we were getting her training a little bit more progressing. We were doing a little bit of long lining with her. I don't do a lot of training with my horses when they're young. I really allow them to grow, and then I don't really put them into more work until they're 4 years old, and then they can do a little bit more. But gradual training, building up their muscles, building up their back muscles, carrying the saddle, all of these things is fantastic for them. And doing what she's doing here, which is long lining, is a great way for them to be ridden, but from the ground and not actually carrying the rider's weight. And that's because they're taking direction from somebody behind them. So that means they're having to go and do things kind of without you in their view right beside them, which is important. So like here she's getting asked to do noodles, which is a pretty easy thing for her to do when you're leading her by her head. But then when you ask her to do it on her own, it's a little bit harder. And it's kind of cute because she goes to go on the bridge at the end, and then you can see a little startle at the end because somebody walked by outside. So she's got some confidence building to do. And if you're always beside your horse at the front of them, then they tend to kind of rely on you for that safety feel. And it's a different level of confidence for them to build up to you being behind them, taking direction from behind them, and needing to go out and face those things, to be the front runner for that. Because horses are a prey animal. They are fight or flight. They're worried about getting eaten, and it's very fair and very reasonable for them. And so this is just a little bit of her coming back into a little bit of work, doing that long lining, showing you a little bit of her groundwork and things that she was doing. Here she started to take part in our summer camp, which was pretty fun, and she gets to do a lot of the obstacles. And it was really great because she got to get exposed to different people, and she ended up doing more obstacles, and the kids ended up having a lot of fun with her, getting to meet her. And she gave a really good challenge too of being a young horse, that you need to maintain your boundaries and yet not so young that she was too frisky or something like that. And this was her doing our Liberty Clinic, or the Liberty portion of our Become the Center of Your Horse's Universe clinic. And I'll show you guys a bunch of her obstacles that she did as well. So this was a clinic participant that came, and we always try to match people. If they're saying, I'd like to borrow a horse, we try to match them based on what their learning goals are. And Bunny fit the bill for what they were looking to do. So this was really great. They ended up taking her over a full obstacle course. You're going to see her go around and do all sorts of awesome things. And we always start with other types of exercises. We build up over the first couple of days of the clinic to build trust, to build a connection. And then we get to this place where we start to do obstacles and challenges with the goal of being, we want to teach the horse that it doesn't matter what we ask you to try. The goal is to just trust me no matter what it is, and you're going to be okay. And we reward the horses for doing the things that we want them to do. You can see she's going to get a cookie after pretty much every obstacle. And it's just because we're trying to help program her brain to say yes to our requests. Because if you think about it, if you have somebody and you constantly ask them to do this and do this and do this and do this, and you never reward them, it's going to turn into a no at some point, because it's going to be a little bit of feeling overwhelmed. Whereas if you're constantly rewarded for trying, and it's like, oh, like, thanks for helping me with this. Thanks for trying this with me. Thanks for doing this. And you're rewarding whatever way that is to reward for what's meaningful for that individual, then it helps them become more motivated to say yes, and even starts to program their brain that when so-and-so asks you to try this, like, you have a good feeling response to that. So you can see she's doing all sorts of things. Like, here's a little piece of foam, which I love because it's super squishy and just kind of weird for the horses to step on. But at the same time, it's not a dangerous obstacle at all. It's something that's very soft and isn't going to scratch them or something like that. So it's a great challenge without being really scary or something that could potentially hurt the horses. There are other types of obstacles, which I'm going to show you one in a minute, that is much harder to do. And if you're not careful or you ask your horse to do it too soon, they could potentially fall off the side of it and scrape their leg or something like that. Here's another mattress that she goes over, and we use the little boxes at the side to help make sure the horse goes through the middle and doesn't go off to the side or avoid stepping on it with their back feet, because the idea is to get the confidence with the whole horse's body. And so if they do it with their front feet, but they kind of tiptoe around it with their back feet, like they kind of go sideways over it, that doesn't have the same effect as if she goes over with her whole body. And this clinic participant is doing super awesome, very fair and very precise with what she's asking the horse to do, very clear, very rewarding, really nice, calm energy. Like she's awesome, like really just doing a great job. And this is one of the harder obstacles. So see, it's a wave obstacle, and you can see Bunny's kind of like, oh, I don't know, like what am I supposed to do? It's got a weird shape, and she kind of thinks about it. And then look at this, look at how she pauses, she thinks. And our training program is all about encouraging the horse to slow down and think, and instead of becoming fight and flight. And then look at that, Bunny actually jumps back up onto the wavy bridge. She gets another reward there for doing a super awesome job. And the handler's doing a great job of guiding her, being patient with her, and then helping her come off the boxes slow and steady. And isn't that super cute? Bunny actually looked at her like, hey, I only came down and didn't jump off. Do I get another cookie for going slowly? And it's like, yes, Bunny, yes, you do get another cookie. And that's what I love to see, is like, there's going to be challenges in life. There's going to be challenges that we come across, whether we're trail riding, out in the field. You never know what it's going to be. But if we can help our horses learn to stay calm and to think rather than freak out and hurt themselves, it's going to be much better off in the long run. So I really love the mindset that Bunny's showing us, because she's developing this confidence. Now, of course, when you're beside your horse like this, it is easier to do a bunch of challenges than when you start to ask your horse to do things by themselves. So it's a completely next level of difficulty to either ride your horse through these obstacles or to long line them through it where they have to do it on their own, or do it at liberty, whatever kind of piece where they have to go head first onto these obstacles is the next level of challenge. But for Bunny, considering, I'm not doing a ton of training with her personally because I'm busy with my other horses, she's getting a lot of attention, and she's trying a lot of new things, which is fantastic. And there's lots of room for progress and lots of, there's always more you can learn anyways, but she's doing a really fantastic job. So I'm pretty excited for her as she gets a little bit older and gets into more riding training. But I ended up having a pretty cool opportunity present itself, and I'll show you guys a little bit later in the video. I'll show you up just finishing up the last obstacles here. And you can just see that her personality is what I love. Her size is pretty good. She's about 14.2 hands now. I like my quarter horses a little bit bigger. She is a registered quarter horse. And ideally for me, my ideal size for quarter horses is more like 15.2 hands is kind of what I consider ideal. So she's a little bit shorter for me, but she's 14.2. She's a good build. Here she might look a little bit downhill still, but that's because she's 3 years old and in this particular footage and has a little bit more growing to do. And this is really cute. She's stepping carefully through the ladder obstacle. Some horses step on the wood. She stepped carefully between the wood, but either way, she did a super cute job with that. And of course, she's got a great color, but she's got a great mindset for training and doing the obstacles, being confident. So I came across this quarter horse stallion who's 16 hands, which means he's taller, so he could potentially bring the height. And he was relatively nearby, so I could go check him out in person. So between the height, his registration, his temperament, and I do like the ability to do the slow collected canters, because I think that could be very handy for the obstacle work that I do and what I would have in potential for a future baby. So we did go ahead and breed Miss Bunny. Many reasons for choosing to breed her: her registration, her temperament, her looks, all of those things. And she is confirmed in full to have a baby next summer. So I'm pretty excited about that, which means that we didn't progress her riding training or her saddle training. We just kind of left it as is with her groundwork. and we'll pick up the riding work after she's had her baby, and we'll get her slowly introduced back in. Being the age that she is, she's a really healthy age to be a first-time mom. So sometimes people wait to breed their horses until they're much older and they've proven themselves in the show ring. But as a horse gets older, there sometimes can be more health complications or other risk factors involved than if you breed a horse when they're more in that younger age, that if they were out in the wild, she would have had a baby already. So that's kind of a little bit going into my decision. You guys can let me know what you think and if you're as excited as I am for a baby bunny. Remember to subscribe and check out harmonyhorsemanship.com for even more learning.